What's up, Team Forsaken? Airsoft Matt here. Today we'll be doing a tutorial on how to change your fusion engine nozzle as well as the poppet valve. Today we will be changing the poppet valve and the nozzle in my Polarstar. We will be changing from the blue nozzle to the red nozzle, and then we are going to be putting the low flow poppet valve in. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Okay, so here we have my Polarstar fusion engine inside the M4 body. This is the Gen 3 version 2. For the simplicity of the video, I went ahead and just took the upper receiver off. That way I can easily access the screws on the top as well as the 3 screws underneath that I will need to get to. Here is the red nozzle for my Gen 3 version 2 Polarstar engine. And here is the red low flow poppet valve, comes with the O-ring. And also, very good to have if you have a fusion engine or F1 or jack. This is Tech T gun salve. It's premium gun grease. You can get it at any airsoft retailer store if you have one, or you can order it online. And then the 2 tools that you will need today are flathead screwdriver. If you have one, you're going to want to try and get one that's a little bit longer if you're going to be working with the fusion engine while it's inside the gun. And then just a hex key. Okay, so we have 1 screw on top of the gun here that you'll use the hex key for. And the way that this is set up is there are 2 separate areas on top. The first area, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there's a line right here, and this whole area in between my fingers is where the nozzle sits. This area right here is where your poppet valve sits. So in order to access your poppet valve, you're going to need to unscrew the housing for the nozzle. So we will go ahead and unscrew this top screw first. And that is the only screw that is on top that you need to remove. All the other screws are down below underneath the gun. Okay, so here is the one that you will need the hex key for. And then you have one here for the flathead and another one over here for the flathead screwdriver. Now, both of those that need the flathead, they will not come out all the way. They will only unscrew, but they will not fall out. The one with the hex key will. Okay, so I'll go ahead and remove the hex key first. Okay, now this is the one that I said will fall out, so make sure that you catch it. And there is that 1 screw. And then I will go ahead, grab my flathead, and remove the 2nd screw. And as you can see, this one does not fall out. Okay, so you will just now slightly pry on the top of your fusion engine and unscrew. Here is the nozzle and the housing which holds the nozzle. Then this spring here, you can just leave that on there. It shouldn't come off, but if it comes back on, you can just slide it right back over this piece. As you can see, it just slides right over. Okay, now to remove this, you just simply push back on it, and out it comes. Go ahead and grab the new nozzle that you will be putting in your fusion engine. And you want to get some of your Tech T gun salve or whatever gun grease you have. You just want to get a little bit of it on your finger. There's a couple areas where you're going to want to put it. Right here around the O-ring, you're going to want to put a little bit. And also right up here in this area. Okay, so normally you would just put your nozzle in the same way that it came out. Sometimes it'll be able to push up all the way so it is completely exposed. Sometimes you just need to get it in there, and once you screw it back on to the area with the spring and the threadings, it'll push it out as far as it needs to go. I'm going to leave it out now and just do that at the end, since we also will be replacing the poppet valve. Okay, so next we will be removing that second flathead screw, which can be accessed inside from the magwell, or if your fusion engine is outside the body completely, you will see it. Now this again is one of the screws that will not come completely out of your fusion engine. And again, you just slightly lift and start to unscrew. And here is the whole housing with your poppet valve. Okay, so I did forget to mention one tool that you will need. It is something like a dental pick, something that has some kind of angled pick, very fine, because there is an O-ring in here that helps seed the poppet valve itself. So you will need to use that pick to pick out that O-ring. And don't worry about damaging it or breaking it, because like I said before, they supply you with a new one. Okay, so once you have the pick under the O-ring, you just simply pull it out. You can set that aside, you won't need it anymore. And your poppet valve should just come right out. Okay, so you can set your old poppet valve aside. And go ahead and grab the new one out. Alright, so as before, on the nozzle, there are some areas that you will want to hit with your Tech T gun salve. Again, just a little bit is all you need on your finger. Around the O-ring here, and around this area. Then you get the housing for the poppet valve. You just slide your poppet valve right back into it. You'll hear it click into place. And you take your new O-ring, set it in the opening, and you can take your pick. Alright, you'll know when your O-ring is securely fastened when it is completely flush with the outside of the poppet valve. You will then grab the spring that was on this. You can then put the spring back on the end of the poppet valve, put it back in the gun. Okay, now make sure you don't screw it too far in, or make sure you don't leave it too loose, because you need to make sure that that screw on the inside can go back into the hole on the housing for the poppet valve. I'll go ahead and screw that back in now. So once that screw's secured, you can then grab the spring, the one on the outside for the poppet valve. Then take your new nozzle, insert it. And like I said, you'll see it doesn't go in all the way, but once you attach it onto the other part of your fusion engine, it'll protrude as it normally should. End of the nozzle is come out to where it normally should be. And then you can just depress the spring, gradually start to screw it onto the threads. Alright, once you have that part that houses your nozzle securely and fastened down on the threads, you want to make sure, as you did before, that you don't leave it too loose or too tight. That way you can still get the screws on the inside. We'll go ahead and do those first. Okay, so there it is, guys. We have successfully installed our new nozzle as well as our new poppet valve in our Polarstar fusion engine. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you had any questions about this how-to or any other questions regarding your Polarstar or questions in general. Feel free to ask us, leave them down in the comments section below, and we'll get back to you guys. Stay tuned for more videos.